Now, we've been discussing this morning about knife crime ahead of the launch of a series of amnesties across England and Wales. Alongside machetes and samurai swords, the government is hoping the scheme will reduce the number of so-called zombie-style knives on the streets. They usually have a sharp edge on one side, a serrated edge on the other. Zombie knives are already banned, but a loophole means that they can still be sold if they don't have an image or words on them that depict violence on their handles. Now, from the 24th of September, all zombie-style knives will be illegal. The government says people will face jail time if they own one. Well, the latest figures for England and Wales show that more than 240 people died as a result of knife crime in the year leading up to June of 2023. Now, despite the government's pledge to clamp down on knife crime, experts and the families of those affected say more needs to be done. One of those people is Hayley Ryall. Hayley's 16-year-old son, Mikey, died after being stabbed with a zombie knife at a birthday party last summer. This is what she told us about the government's latest announcement.
Knives will still be available to get hold of. So it might not be a zombie knife, but if we don't change the way that these kids think, they're still going to carry a knife. It could be a kitchen knife, it could be anything. I wish the government would ask us and listen to us because we're the ones living it. You know, I speak to the teenagers, ask us what we need because we'll be honest, like we want help.
We're joined now by two people who care passionately about this issue. Professor Erinma is an activist who works to tackle violence in Manchester. And joining us from North London is Mark Prince, who founded the Kiyan Prince Foundation in memory of his son Kiyan, who was fatally stabbed when he was just 15. Morning, Mark. If we could come to you first of all. I just want to firstly see what you think of these latest proposals from the government. What do you think about the amnesty?
Oh, look, we're going backwards and we're going round and round in circles. So you have to understand from my point of view, this was going on in 2006. Amnesties, banning, all of this was going on back then. So how does it make sense that it's still going on now? And all this time I've been talking about the government putting in a 10-year plan and we're willing to help. Kiyan Prince Foundation aren't just talking, we're out here putting in work. We're at the Tottenham Community Sports Centre, we're doing the best that we can with the small resources that we have and we're changing lives. We're talking about symptoms for the last how many years? Let's deal with the cause. My child got stabbed with a camping knife. Somebody else's child got stabbed with a kitchen knife. Someone else with a zombie knife. Is that important? That's the symptoms of it. Let's deal with what's going on in the minds of young people and in our society. And why isn't the people from the top down actually putting a strategy together like Scotland did? I feel like I'm just repeating myself year in, year out.
That must be frustrating for you, I know. But can you tell us then, if this is just treating the symptom, what is the first thing that you would do if you could make a significant change today?
You could go on our website, look at what we've done. We've done extensive research. We spoke to the young people. They've given the answers. We've just found that we've been delivering the answers. We've been going into the schools, meeting young people, speaking to their hearts and minds, opening up opportunities. They need a different type of mindset. The way society is right now and the way that parenting's changed has allowed children to just like take authority and have no respect and regard. They need elders. They need people with lived experience to be able to be in front of them, show them the way, show them the light, for them to take a different route in life and give them different choices. There's also mental health. There's so much more of it going on. We've been providing that for young people. They need sports. They need activities. They need employment opportunities. They need entrepreneurial opportunities. These are the things we've been providing. The focus isn't on the children and the children's needs. The focus has been all about punishment for doing something, and that really isn't the answer.
Erinma, morning to you. You were nodding along to some of what Mark was saying there. Is it your thought too that this just doesn't go far enough in tackling the root causes of this problem?
I mean, absolutely, because like Mark said, I think what we have to do is tackle the root causes. It's like if you had a tree that had, you know, I don't know, some kind of mould and you're just cutting the leaves off, the cause, the root cause, you're not really getting down to it. What we have to look at with our young people, first of all, we need to actually talk to them, get to know our young people, get to know their lives, get to know the society that they're now living in. And one of the things that we need to remember as adults is we were once young people. You know, okay, society has changed, so what they focus on is different, but we were once young people, we were once rebellious. So it's getting to understand the mindset, and Mark mentioned about changing mindset. So it's how do we do that? How do we change the mindset? We change the mindset because, when I say us, my group as well, Charisma Services, we go into schools, but we talk to young people about the de-escalation of conflict. What is the de-escalation of conflict? How do you stop an argument or a simple bump on the shoulder, stepping on the shoe? How do you stop that from becoming something that ends up into a fight in the playground or spills out onto the streets? And we talk to them about the fact that the stories, or when something happens in the classroom, like, I don't know, somebody might look at you, I've even learned recently, side eye, but somebody might give you the side eye. Now, what happens in your head, you start building up a story as to what that's about. And that's the, you know, the inverted conflict that's going on within themselves. It's also about them controlling their own emotions. That emotion does not become that overt conflict. Because when they build up a story in their head, they pass that story on to somebody else. Like I might tell you about what he or she did to me. You then will advise her to advise me, well, we should do this or you should do that. They build up a whole story and scenario in their head. And then before you know it, it becomes that overt conflict, where they're maybe having a fight or, and, you know, unfortunately, knife crime. And all along, nobody has communicated. Nobody's had a conversation. Nobody's asked questions as to why did they give you the side eye? Did they even know that that's what they did? And so I think it's all about, if we're going to change the mindset, we have to be there right at the beginning with our young people, teaching them how to change their mindset, which is how to be in control of your own emotions. Because everybody's got emotions, and we do get angry, we do get upset, we do get annoyed. But what are those emotions? When are we displaying them? Can we actually control them and ask ourselves, well, actually, why am I getting angry? And if I am getting angry about something, let me go and have a conversation about it rather than acting, you know, or reacting to what somebody has said or what somebody has done. Because when they react without thinking, this is when we have all these fatals, unfortunately, that happening.
Is there some case, though, for with an amnesty like this, for at least attempting to get a certain number of these knives off the streets?
I mean, absolutely, because, you know, a lot of the work that Charisma has done has been around anti-gun crime. And we were one of the ones to first call for an amnesty, you know, in Manchester. And it does help. It does, because there are people out there will be young people that may have been given something to carry, may have been given something to hold or hide, and they just don't want it. Or there may be parents that find something in their home or hidden in the car, and they don't want that. What do you actually do with that? Because most people are afraid if you find a gun or you find one of them long knives, what do you actually do with it? You go and bury it in the garden, but then somebody might find it. You know, and all this anxiety goes on in people's, you know, minds as well. So I think, yes, having amnesties, they are useful. Yeah, they do help, but it doesn't solve the root problem, but it does help.
And Mark, I suppose that's the issue, isn't it, about understanding why some young people may be carrying knives of any description, understanding why they may feel they need to, or, as Erinma was saying there, why they just have them in their possession. And that comes back to your point, doesn't it, about understanding young people on a more basic level.
That's correct, and that's why I'm glad that the Times published our research, because you can find it on our website and explains to everybody the issues that the young people are dealing with. And that's why, as a certified life coach, I've incorporated this in Kiyan Prince's model to address young people's needs. It's having massive results. Why? Because school right now isn't fit for purpose. Because when young people leave school, they're not prepared with emotional intelligence skills to handle different emotions. So you'll find there's a lot more increase in mental health, depression, suicide amongst young people. And I never heard of this when I was coming up. Society's changing and we need to meet the needs of the young people right now. If I just punish my kids without understanding them, then I'm not doing a very good job as a parent.
Can I just add that there's a valid point there? I mean, education, I said this years ago, schools and education, they give our children, our young people, the technical ability to pass exams. If you work out the formula, you come out with your, your A triple styles and that. What it doesn't give them is that life skills, how to look after yourself outside of that, educational establishment, whether if it's school, college, uni. And I think that's what we as adults, elders, olders, as Mark put it, we're their role models. No matter what it is that an adult is doing, you are that #1 role model for that child, your child, or those children. It could be children around you. And we need to remember that. And we give them the life skills. We teach them how to look after themselves out there on the street. We cannot expect schools to do that. Schools, they do it to an extent, so don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they don't do it altogether, but they can only do it so far. That's for communities to do. The communities and the neighbourhoods that we live in, the families, the extended families that we've grown up in, that's our role, that's our job, to give our children life skills, to be those role models for our young people, and also to teach our young people that the way of life, the way to get ahead in life, is not by carrying a deadly weapon.
Erinma, Mark.
I believe that if you've got young people in front of you and you have access to young people, teach them all the skills that they need.
Yes,
and life skills are the skills that young people need. Communication skills are the skills they need. That's what Kiyan Prince Foundation are doing, and we're asking corporates, people to come and help us to develop this model, because it's very difficult to do it on your own. We're asking other organizations to help us to expand our work, so when we have young people in, there is no route that we're not able to support and help them. We're doing the real work out here. Other organizations doing it. Let's come together and create something where young people can see a better way, and they'll put down the knives, get the knives out the minds, and stop focusing on symptoms, trying to take it out of their hands.
Mark Prince, Erinma Bell, thank you both very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.